Okay, hopefully you got a chance to view the first two presentations for this unit. And I know I threw a lot at you in the second presentation, a lot of information about rhetorical analysis. I wanted to get a chance to actually have you see this in practice, and this what I'm about to do is in by no means the extent of how far you can go with the rhetorical analysis of an advocacy ad. But I want to let you see it done in practice a little bit with some of the elements that I'm asking you to do as you get ready to move into some homework and to find your own ad and be able to create this rhetorical analysis so you can write your paper. So this is the rhetorical analysis of an advocacy ad. I'm going to try and apply the questions and elements we previously discussed in order to establish a rhetorical context for an ad. Save the Children advocacy ad. Hopefully seeing this helps you figure out what we were talking about and will help you in figuring out what to say about your own ad when you select one. So here we have the ad. It's by the organization Save the Children, which is an advocacy organization. This ad is in your textbook as well. And whenever you want to think about doing a rhetorical analysis, just take a step back and take a look at the ad that you're viewing and just kind of notice the elements that stand out to you most immediately. Let your eyes kind of take it in for a second. And then you can start with the things that you really notice about this ad. For instance, when I first look at this ad, I notice the colors right away. Very bright, kind of a red head covering on the woman. I noticed the baby's clothes seem pretty bright. I noticed the big red bar, the Help One Save Many bar there kind of below the ad. I noticed kind of the green in the background. It shows me it's probably not an urban environment. It might be somewhere out in the country. So I'm automatically starting to establish setting for myself in establishing the rhetorical context. I really noticed the look of the baby that the woman is caring for, and how her eyes are locked on to, to this doctor or to this woman who's caring for her. I noticed that the baby's shirt is lifted up. It exposes a baby's breast, which normally you don't see that much in ads, so it stands out to your eye. Which kind of, I think, to me speaks to the tenderness of the child, and also to the fact that usually when we lift up a baby's shirt like that, unless we're changing them, it is at the doctor and maybe they're running some tests on there, which makes us concerned for the baby. And I'll get back to that in just a little bit. But you notice the contrast of the colors in this ad and really kind of, who stands out in this ad and what stands out about them. We see the text there between the baby and the woman, but it's kind of in white and it's a little bit less. It says, to show you all of the seriously ill children that the local health worker, Kalada Yasmin, helped save this year, we need 122 more pages. So that lets us know that Kalada Yasmin has helped save 122 children who have been very sick. Just this one health worker has done that. So it speaks to her own ethos, I think. It brings about some logic, certainly. It's giving us facts and figures, so it's providing us with some logos here as we take a look at it. To be more direct, when we take a look at this, I'll go directly off the questions from your book that I'm asking you to use when you're analyzing ads. So what genre of argument is this? Well, we know that this is an advocacy ad. It says it right at the bottom, in case we didn't know. It says, how do the conventions of that genre help determine the depth, complexity, and even appearance of the argument? Well, we know with an advocacy ad that they're asking us to make some sort of change or to help some sort of cause. So we kind of know that they're going to create a compassionate text. They're going to try and stir some emotion. So we're going to have some pathos here, and get some emotion kind of going in us to help stir us to action. They're going to use some logos to help us call to action. Kairos certainly is going to play a role because they're saying that, hey, in the last year, this woman alone has had to help 123 children. So this is an immediate problem that we need to fix. So their motivating occasion is this is what's going on in the world right now. So they have some clear kairos working for them also. Who is the author? Well, we don't know the specific person or design team that came up with this. So we have to go with the Save the Children Foundation and the National Ad Council, as that's told to us at the bottom of the ad. So we know that it's created from the or by the organization for the organization. So they're clearly have an agenda kind of aligned as authors. What is the audience he or she is writing for? I think clearly they're looking for a sympathetic audience, somebody who will give time and money to the Save the Children Foundation to help provide care for these children. They're appealing to people who obviously have a sense of compassion for others, who have some money available to help. They're trying to bring attention for people maybe who didn't realize there was a problem, that this is going on in another part of the world you might not even be aware about, but this is a serious issue and you can help. So it's going to people who already feel for the situation, and also people kind of who are neutral or not aware of it. The motivating occasion, I've talked about that a little bit. The author's purpose is clearly to advocate the helping of these children. It's also to raise money for the children. They give a website there that you can go and find out. They want to really let you know that this is a very real problem and these are real people that this is affecting. It says, what information about the publication or source helps explain the writer's perspective? In this particular case, this came directly off of their advocacy website. So clearly it already aligns it with the publication source. Clearly they're going to use something that calls you to action and that helps their cause. You might see this advertisement in a newspaper or in a magazine. Do yourself a favor and think about that the next time you're flipping through a magazine and you stop at an ad. You're like, okay, why did they put that ad in this magazine? They're trying to reach a demographic that they believe needs to either be aware of this situation or that can help them with the situation, or both. It's not ever accidental that a certain ad is in a certain magazine. What is the writer's angle of vision? What is the lens? What is their kind of selective seeing that they're giving us to this? They're giving us a very uptight image of the closeness between the doctor and the child and kind of the situation. It's not in a big fancy medical office. It's down in really close. This lens is also somebody is right there with them, working with them, and happen to snap a picture. So that's the image that you're trying to portray for us, the audience. We think about it in terms of logos, ethos, and pathos. What's the main claim that the visual is arguing? Well, they're arguing that they need help, right? That this person is doing so much work, and that there's this many seriously ill kids, that we can help them, that we have to help them. It's a call to action that we must help these innocent children. If just looking at the visual itself, we have the text, which gives us the statistics in the middle of the page. They give us a website where we can access more information. It's marked with the Save the Children logo and the words and the National Ad Council. So it lends some understanding and background to where it's coming from. It's a legitimate organization. It's trying to establish some ethos there. They're saying, hey, we're the ones helping these people. We know firsthand what's going on. So it's really trying to build their ethos in this advertisement. Like I said, it goes back to the almost seeming like they're there snapping that picture that they might be a worker too. So it really builds the ethos of this ad. You see in the design elements for pathos, which I would argue is probably the strongest appeal here, and is an emotional appeal. The look of just kind of life and of exuberance on the baby's face, in the baby's eyes, the way they're fixated on the doctor, the mouth is open, the baby just seems happy to be being treated, happy to be alive. That's calling an emotional response in us, the reader. You know, the woman is kind of tenderly taking care of the baby. That again, it kind of appeals to us. You know, they don't have shoes on. That might speak to possibly a lower income situation where they can't afford certain necessities, which certainly plays into, you know, the ill health of the child. The fact that, you know, this woman is wearing bright colors and maybe the baby wears bright colors is kind of either a sign of hope, maybe that things can get better. It kind of offsets also the seriousness of the situation. So even in a bad situation, something good is happening, something bright is coming out of this. Hopefully you see that connection there between what they're saying, what we can do if we can give more money or help these children. The doctor herself is less the focus. She's wearing kind of a dark blue shirt, which kind of fades into the background a little bit more. The baby's bare skin kind of grabs us as a reader. We need, you know, we want that baby to be clothed and to be fed and to be healthy. And the ad's all kind of working to do that. The red block where it says help one save many and it gives the website, it cuts the ad in half. Red also kind of, you know, it's the color of blood clearly, which is representing life to me in this ad. And these are some of the things that I see that I would choose to talk about if I was analyzing this ad. If I was breaking down pathos, I would talk about the color usage and the looks on people's faces, and, you know, maybe the type of medicine or the lack of shoes. These types of things inspire us with pathos. Logos, I would certainly talk about the main quote in white between the two people. I would talk about the website. I would talk about most of the print on the page and the information it's providing us. For ethos, I would talk about how these are the people who are there in the trenches doing this, and they know what the need is, if I was breaking this down rhetorically. Hopefully that sheds some light on what we're looking for you to do when you're analyzing ad, and some of the ways that you might be able to break down your ad. For homework, I'm going to have you take a look at a documentary about Walmart. It's an ad for the documentary about Walmart, and that can be found on your Unit 1 assignment sheet. And you're basically going to do the same type of thing that I just did here for that ad, and there's a message board thread where you'll post that. So hopefully that gives you a little more understanding of what we're doing. If you're confused, shoot me an email, or we can set up a time to chat so we can discuss this a little bit more, in hopes that you hopefully have this down and get ready to start moving towards your ad and your paper. Thanks for watching and for listening.